So I popped it out of the mold. I cut off the ends. But here's one thing I want to caution you on. You can see I've sanded here. This is where it leaked through on the bottom. When that comes out, a lot of times there's like an unbelievably sharp edge at the edge of that epoxy. It's like a piece of broken glass. So as soon as you take it out of your mold, make sure you turn it over and sand out that edge just enough so you can't get hurt. Because like I said, it is super sharp. So what we're going to do now is we're going to sand the board itself. We're going to sand the sides, the edges, and we're going to round off the corners. Don't worry about if you scratch the epoxy while you're sanding, because you have to rough it up anyway when you put the entire covering coat on there, so it won't really matter. So don't worry if you hit it with the sander and scratch it, because you're going to fix it later. All right? Okay, I always like to do the sides first, then I do the top when I'm done. All right, and belt sander's the easiest way. Take you a couple minutes. All right. Okay, so we got the sides and the corners rounded off. Now we'll sand the top. As far as the edge goes, I don't like it sharp, but I won't do it with a machine. I'll do it with a sanding block and just kind of rough it off so it's not real thick on there, or real sharp. Matter of preference, whatever you like. You could round it off a lot using a router or like I said, for the edge, I'm just going to do a little knockdown on it. I don't really, I kind of like it so it's still distinctive. See, that's taking it off, just taking the sharpness out. And then we'll just do the same to the other side, and then we're ready to. Okay, so our board is all sanded, shaped, and we're ready to stain it. Now, one thing to keep in mind, epoxy doesn't go well over oil-based stain, but it's very hard to find water-based stains in colors you want. I guess it's just not used that much, so you can use the oil-based stain, but we'll have to seal over it with a water-based sealer when it's dry, which that's what I am going to do. So we'll stain this, get a nice coat on there. Don't worry about getting it on the epoxy, because again, you're going to sand that epoxy down a little bit and rough it up for the flood coat. So, I mean, I wipe off any extra I get on there, but I don't worry about getting it on. It's not going to hurt anything. Remember, always stain with the grain. Okay, so now while your stain is dry, now we got to seal it. Since I used an oil-based stain, we have to seal it with a water-based sealer. So this is what I use, polyacrylic, get it at Lowe's, a couple bucks, clear matte. And what we're going to do is put 2 coats on. We'll put the first coat on, and let that dry for 4 hours. Then you scuff it with some light sandpaper and then hit it again. And then after that, then we're ready to do the epoxy on the whole board. All right. You want to make sure you get it all covered so it soaks in, seals up that stain really well, because the epoxy won't stick to it.